career that you've had and all the leadership abilities and experiences you've gone through. So the first question I have is just, could you, for the people who may not know you, could you just introduce yourself, your current position, and kind of how you got to where you are today?
Wayne Ingle is my name, and I'm the Director of Accounting Operations, dual-headed as the Acting Deputy Director for the site here for a while. And I've gotten to where I am through hard work, accepting responsibility for those things which I can control, and as well as those things which I can influence. You don't have to own something in order to get something done. You can be a informal leader versus a formal appointed leader, and you do that by influence and spheres of influence.
So when was the first time you really got into a leadership position, and what was your philosophy back then, and has it changed now since you're in this role here at DFAS Indianapolis?
The first time probably, of course, in academics, of course, football teams and those type of things, basketball team, a leader, but as far as adult life and as far as work experience, probably when I came in the Army. Actually, during the basic training cycle, I was they made me acting corporal, which was a big deal at that time, you know. So, but I've always my leadership philosophy is very basic. You care for the people which you have entrusted to your care, and you demonstrate that. You don't talk about it as much as you show it. If you because there's a degree of that if your audio does what you're saying does not match what people see you doing, then your credibility suffers big time. So you've got to demonstrate that you're a caring leader, and I actually think that that's the biggest quality of any leader. You've got to care for the people, you got to care for the mission, and you got to care for the people you service. Those are three ingredients I hold near and dear. A couple of philosophies, I know that. One of them is you care about the customers first and your employees second. And then there's a Southwest airline model which says you care about your employees first, and your employees will take care of the customers and increase your customer satisfaction level. I happen to subscribe to the Southwest model, which says you take care of the people, you empower the people, you equip the people, you train the people, and the people will do a great job of taking care of their customers. So that's kind of my philosophy on leadership.
What do you see as your biggest management challenge so far since you've been at DFAS?
Managing change, certainly managing change, and the systems-related issues and the people-related issues. We're in a culture today, our whole nation is that we're changing faster than we've ever changed before. The acceleration of change is phenomenal at this point. And, oh, by the way, it's not going to slow down. So if you think you're going to have time to sit back and catch your breath and stabilize, it will never happen. You're always, at this point, you're running as fast as you can run to keep up with the change and take care of the people, make sure we remain focused and relevant to the mission. So I would say managing change and managing expectations, because that's equally a part of it, is managing expectations of the customers as well as expectations of the workforce. When can they expect some relief, or is there a light at the end of this proverbial tunnel? And you've always got to remain positive and committed to the fact that yes, collectively, one team, one mission, we can change this. And it will improve if we just are committed and give our very best effort every day. So I would say that's probably the same challenge, biggest challenge that the private sector is experiencing as well, and is managing change.
And I know that's one of DFAS's missions is right now is do more with less, but find those efficiencies going forward. Do you think it's been easy, or how challenging has it been to find those efficiencies within this organization?
Extremely challenging due to the fact that sometimes we get bogged down with mission, with real live fire mission today, that we don't take the time to step back and evaluate the processes we're using, and therefore what it does to us, we fail to improve. Whereas if you can just take a strategic pause and step back. Now, some people say, I don't have the time to do that. I suggest to you, you don't have the time not to do that. To me, it's analogous to training. There will be some people, I don't have time to send my people to training. No, we got that right backwards. You don't have time not to send your people. Without the trained workforce, you cannot get the job done. And so you've got to make that time. You've got to take some time. You've got to stand up the projects. You've got to sponsor the projects. Now I'm talking about the process improvement projects. You've got to look at that and say, where are the opportunities? You've got to have the periodic reviews of those projects to make sure they're still focused and that we're not going off on a tangent, and that we're actually identifying the root causes, not just fixing the first thing that pops up and whack-a-mole type situation, because we can do that too. We can fix the symptoms and never get to the root cause, and we'll be fixing symptoms all day long and for years and months to come. So we got to get what is causing the problem, and it could be internally or it could be externally. So the end-to-end is extremely important in any black belt or green belt project where you're seeking process improvement.
Okay. So looking back on your career, has there been a time where you've had to make an ethical decision that may not have been the most popular decision for everybody, but it was the most ethical decision at the time?
Oh, you bet. Sure. And many times you've got to take personalities and emotions out of decisions, and decisions, in my opinion, have to be fact-based. And you can never violate ethical principles. If you start compromising your ethical principles, you have nothing left at the end of the day. You really don't. And so if you don't know something, say you don't know. Don't interject a red herring into a conversation just to have something to say. If there's something that borders on being unethical, it needs to be looked at much closer, because it probably is. And I can tell you that people get in serious trouble by making unethical decision or selfish decision. That ties right back into the same thing. If I made a selfish decision, the pain it might inflict upon our workforce and our customers, because when you're making a decision, you've got to consider what is the ramifications of the decision I'm about to make. And that's part of decision making, because depending on where you are in the mechanical model that I keep in my mind, if you're at the top of this and that wheel up there, if they stop, then and these wheels down here that's turning 90 miles an hour, if this one comes to a halt, these here end up on their nose. Mm-hmm. Now, if this one does a reverse decision, you just create chaos in the organization. So that's why I guess I've managed and led in foreign countries. I've picked up what foreign cultures do. The best model I have come across is the Japanese model, which only I think has one flaw. They may consider all aspects, and whereas they pass the opportunity to the decision may be late. So a late decision is the same as no decision. So I've tried to adopt. Now I've served and worked in a lot of foreign countries: Turkey, Germany, Belgium, quite a few foreign countries, and I've always looked for how they do things, because our German allies, tremendous the way they approach things. Very pragmatic, very fact-driven, kind of hard-headed at times, but you know, that comes with the territory. But no, it's a couple of things: safety, never violate; ethics, never violate; morality. Those are things that are off limit in decision. You cannot go there. You cannot make those selfish decisions. If a leader makes a selfish decision, they're doing themselves a discredit as well as their organization. And people will see that. People say, yeah, he required me to come in to work on Saturday, and he's out on the golf course. Not a good place to be if you've got your workforce in here working. You probably belong in here working with them shoulder to shoulder, leading from the front, rather than on a golf course yelling four. Because I yell four a lot. Because my tee shots go to the right and to the left and all over the place. So
yeah, lead by example is definitely a good motto to
you
live by.
bet. You bet. It's the foundation of leadership. Never ask your subordinates to do anything you're unwilling to do. Never, ever, ever. Period.